Good morning, third graders. I welcome you to a new Qatar history lesson. And this week, we are going to continue reading Lesson 2 Ancient Historical Landmarks in Qatar. And today's lesson will be about stating the importance of studying ancient monuments, which include forts, towers, and ancient traditional markets in Qatar. So let's get started. Please do not forget to pause this video for better understanding. All right, so we're gonna continue reading lesson 2. And what I want you to do is let's have a quick warm up. Can you recognize this fort right here? We studied about it last week. That's right, this is Al Zubara. And what about this one here? That's correct, this is Al Wajba Fort. Very good. So I'm going to read a few lines like I always do, and we're gonna catch on the most important information here. So let's look at a new fort today, which is called Doha Fort or Al Qut Fort. It is one of the main tourist attractions in Doha, the capital of Qatar. The fort is one of the few remaining military forts. It's famous for its square-shaped building and high towers. It was constructed in 1880 during the regime of Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed bin Thani. That's from the year 1878 to 1913 on a high hill to protect Doha. It was used as a prison and it was converted to a museum in 1985 for popular Qatari crafts. So, takeaway points here in this paragraph are that it's one of the main tourist attractions in Doha. It was built in the regime of Sheikh Jassim bin Mohammed bin Thani, and it was built on a high hill to protect Doha. Later, it was converted into a prison, used as a prison, and later it was converted into a museum in 1985. So, now, don't forget, guys, we've studied about Al Zubara, Al Wajba, and today we've read about Al Qut Fort. However, these are not the only archaeological monuments in Qatar, and there are many more like Al Shagab Fort, Al Yusufiya, Al Rakiyat, and Salal Mohammed Fort. Okay, so you can always research about them. You can go and have a look on the internet. There's plenty of information. Now, let's look at some towers. Now, towers are one of the features of our glorious history. Most notably, the first one mentioned in your book is the two towers of Berzan. Berzan towers were constructed as watch towers and were a western tower and an eastern tower that were erected around Salal Muhammad area. I'll show you this area at the end of this presentation on Google Maps. Where exactly is it located? So, again, they were built as watchtowers, and the two towers that were constructed, a western one and an eastern one, right? Great. And look at this picture right here. Try to recognize it and uh, put that in your memory so that anytime you see this picture, you know, well, yeah, that's the Barzan Tower. Let's look at the second one, Al Khor Towers. These were constructed in 1900 as defensive watchtowers as well, and these are located in Al Khor Port. These towers will remain an evidence of the history and struggle of our ancestors against dangers by sea. Now, if you look at the location of these towers, you'll see that they're at the coastline, right? They're spread all over the country. So there is your significance that you need to remember that these were watchtowers and they were there in place to protect the country from invaders. So that's a closer view of the entire paragraph. You can always pause this video and read. Look at this picture. You can see there are some vessels here, some ships in the background. So that's your Al Khor port, right? Now, the significance here should be remembered, and the importance should be able uh, you should be able to write down the importance and the significance of these ancient monuments. And very quickly, let me show you where Al Barzan towers are right here. You see this blue pinpoint? That's Salal Muhammad area. And to figure out the proximity, you can see that Lusail is right here. So this is up in the north area. Great. Now, let's look at some traditional markets. The most famous traditional market in Qatar is Souk Waqif, and now we have a new one in Souk Wakra as well, where this old traditional market is converted into a wonderful brand new market. But they've tried their level best to preserve uh, the old buildings in a way that they reflect Qatar's rich heritage and culture. So let's read about Souk Waqif here. It is most famous. It is the most famous tourist attraction and heritage landmark in Doha City. It combines tradition, authenticity, and modern civilization. This market is characterized by selling archaeological handicraft goods. It is a unique market in the Arabian Gulf. Now, as soon as you enter Souk Waqif, you can see colorful handicrafts, rugs, carpets, cushion covers, and lots of Asian heritage craft that displays Qatar's rich culture and how the country is trying to preserve it. Now, this is some enriching information right here for you. Let's read it. Souk Waqif is one of the Asian places in Qatar. The state is keen to preserve it as the market has been subject to the design renovation process while maintaining authenticity and culture heritage. So even though they've done a lot of renovations, there is this brand new Nova Cinema in there, and awesome underground parking, lots of new restaurants. You can find all sorts of cuisines. However, they have managed preserving the authenticity of this market, and it's pretty reflective when you go and when you walk down the lanes in the souk. You can see that there is a rich display of Qatari culture and heritage within the market. It's one of the most popular tourist attraction, by the way. Now, this again is a close up. You can pause and read through this information. Now, what do I want you to do? I want you to know that traditional markets are markets that have performed businesses from generation to generation. So they are very unique. They're very unique, and there are many traditional markets around the globe. And we're going to explore a few to connect with our beautiful Souk Waqif. So that's one link that I'm going to share in today's discussion, and you can always go and visit it and write comments as to what you learned. And in this slide, I'll share a few very traditional and very famous markets around the globe. But these traditional markets are not restricted to the ones I'm sharing. There are plenty more out there. So another link right here for you from WordPress. You can always find it in the discussion and explore it and write about it in the discussion so that we can know what you learned. So this one right here is called the Weekend Market in Bangkok, Thailand. And this right here, I'm sure many of you are aware of this. That's the uh, beautiful Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, Turkey. I love this place. It has so many traditional handicrafts. It's just beautiful, and so many restaurants with yummy Turkish cuisine. And right here, this market is called the Marché Aux, and this is in Paris, France. You can research about these markets and read more in on this link that I'm going to post in the discussion today. All right, so a quick review, guys. Some very important information is being highlighted. So remember that Qatar has a glorious history and it has excellent historical landmarks. We know about Al Zabara being listed in the UNESCO heritages. Next, I want you to remember that archaeological landmarks are of many types. We have forts, citadels, taves, and traditional markets. And also Bara Fort, Doha Fort, which is also called Al Qut, and Al Wajba Fort are examples of Qatar's great forts. And the watchtowers that we've read about in this lesson are Barzan Towers, Al Khor Towers, and remember this significance and remember that they are an evidence of the history and struggle of our ancestors against the foreign invasions coming from the sea. And last but not the least, a very famous heritage market, Souk Waqif. Great. So I want you to explore the links in the discussion. and tell us what you found out. And then you're going to go to eQuiz and you will find a question where you're going to write a few lines on Souk Waqif. And for that as well, I'm going to post a link taken from from Merhaba website. It's a great link. There's a lot of information as to what are those ancient handicraft, colorful, gorgeous displays that you find in Souk Waqif. So you can read about it, copy paste some pictures, and yeah, share your work with us. Best of luck, grade 3.